imagine having all the momentum in the world. You come back from 3-0 down. You blow you go up 4-3. They tie it late, and then you win it on the road in overtime to tie the series. You would think you have all the momentum going into Game 5. Florida is really good at shutting down another team's momentum, and they proved it here once again for the billionth time in this game. Tonight could be the final game of the season, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Florida's at home. Um, they won it in front of their home crowd last year. They could do it again this year. And if Edmonton somehow manages to push this to 7, I don't have confidence they'll win in Game 7. At the start of the series, I really thought this is Edmonton's time, but we've seen this story before. 2009, Detroit was up 3-2 on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh ends up winning Game 6 at home. They win Game 7 on the road in Detroit, and they pull it off. Can McDavid repeat what Crosby did? Can McDavid repeat what Gretzky did when he lost in 83 in the final to the Islanders and then won in 84? That's all the whole story is. Can history repeat itself? And Florida is doing its best to make sure it does not happen. 2024, Florida wins the first 3 games. They win Game 1 3-0. They win Game 2 4-1. They win Game 3 4-3. Game 4, Edmonton responds with 8-1, and then they win 5-3. This series has been a lot different. 2025 game 1, Edmonton takes at home 4-3 in overtime before Florida takes Game 2 in overtime 5-4 in double overtime. If Edmonton wins that game, this series is a completely different series. I believe Florida probably wins both games at home, and I don't know. Edmonton could be up 3-2 right now instead of Florida being up 3-2, and that's a much better place to be. They haven't won a game in regulation in this series. Game 3, Florida wins 6-1. Game 4, Edmonton reclaims with the comeback win 5-4 in overtime. Florida wins 5-2 now in Game 5, and now they're up 3-2 in the series. I guess we'll go over the game because you could just see that Edmonton did not have an answer. 10:48 of the first, Florida scores, and it's Brad Marchand, his 9th of the playoffs from Lundell to make it 1-0. 1:54, it's Sam Bennett's 15th of the playoffs. A very strong belief that Bennett's going to win the Conn Smythe at this point, only increasing his demand for money. That's from Kachuk to make it 2-0. No goals in the second period, so it's 2-0 Florida going into the third in Edmonton. 14:48, Florida scores the dagger. I knew they weren't coming back after that one. And it's Marchand again with his 2nd of the game, 10th of the playoffs, and what a pickup by Florida. Well worth a first-round pick, and especially if they pull this off tonight, if they pull it off in Game 7. Even if they don't pull it off, what a pickup, because he's been phenomenal this playoff run. 10th of the playoffs from Luosterainen to make it 3-0. McDavid responds just over 2 minutes later with his own 7th of the playoffs from Bouchard and Ekholm to make it 3-1. And then less than a minute later, Florida responds. It's Reinhart at 11:50, 7th of the playoffs from Barkov to make it 4-1. Oilers pull the goalie late. Of course, Pickard started in this game over Skinner. 3:13, Corey Perry gets one on a kind of a slapper, and Perry's had a very good playoffs run as well. 10th of the playoffs at 40 years old, and from Draisaitl and Nurse to make it 4-2. Honestly, Corey Perry might have been the MVP of this series, if you're asking me. I would say Perry, Draisaitl, McDavid in terms of your 3 best players in this series. And then 1:19, they pull the goalie again, and Eetu Luosterainen caps off a pretty good game for him. 5th of the playoffs, unassisted to make it 5-2. Gets a goal and an assist in this game, and Luosterainen's someone I really like, so I'm good for him. Bobrovsky saves 19 out of 21. Pickard saves 14 out of 18. Shots were 21-19. Edmonton. Hits were 31-25. Florida. Faceoffs 29-25. Florida. Power plays. Edmonton 0 for 3. Florida's done a phenomenal job at shutting down this team's this team's power play, and Florida goes 0 for 2, and they've had a pretty decent power play this series. But compared to Edmonton's that has all that firepower, all that star power up front, you would think they'd do better on the power play, and they just haven't. I'll give Bobrovsky credit. He's been a fantastic asset in this series. But as well, just give this entire team credit. They've been excellent at shutting down this Oilers offense, and it's something they did very well last year, except for games 4, 5, and 6. But they've done a very much better job of it, I would say, this year, because they kept games close. They prevented Florida's choked a few games away. The series could be over already, but overall they've kept the Oilers more in check, and they haven't allowed them to kind of rout against them in multiple games. It's really Game 1 they came back, Game 4 they came back, Game 2 they almost did, but they closed it out, and Game 5 they prevented it. So comebacks are going to happen, but they shouldn't be happening as much with the way Florida's been playing. Anyway, guys, that's going to be all I have for you guys on this one. Let me know down below, who do you think is going to win Game 6 tonight? Do you think we're going 7? Do you think Edmonton's winning in 7? Florida's winning in 7? If you do think it's going 7. And, yeah, so thank you all so much for watching this video, and I shall see you all in the next one. Have a good one.